now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. One of my viewers wanted to know how to deal with sympathy or empathy burnout. Now, when I talk about sympathy and empathy burnout, what he's talking about is falling into a state of apathy. And when people become apathetic, that is when they no longer have any sort of sympathy or empathy towards others because they feel like the situation has become so hopeless that they become to a state where whenever they hear about something, they just become completely indifferent towards it. And it's a very bad thing to become an apathetic person because an apathetic person is so cynical that they've basically become so indifferent to all of the things going on in life that they just given up on the ability to be have any sort of emotions regarding anything. And because they don't have any sort of emotions regarding anything, because their sympathy and empathy have burned out, they become so detached that they basically are not feeling anything inside emotionally or spiritually. And that's a very bad place to be where you can't feel anything emotionally or have any sort of sympathy or empathy towards others, because people who don't have any sort of sympathy or empathy towards others, they head down the road to becoming a narcissist. They head down the road to becoming a psychopath, and in extreme cases, they head down the road to becoming a sociopath. Because a sociopath is someone who is so caught up in themselves that they have no sort of sympathy or empathy towards others, and they have no regard for anybody's feelings. No, everything is all about themselves, and you don't want to go to a place where you have absolutely no sort of sympathy or empathy towards others, because when a person gets to that point, that's when they become a sociopath, and a sociopath is someone who, again, has no regard for anyone. Or you could, in the worst case, you can become a psychopath, because a psychopath is a narcissist who basically lives in their own world because they're so apathetic about the state of our world that they've become so jaded and twisted that they go to living in their own world and living by their own logic. So this is why you have to really look out for your ability to sympathize and empathize with others, because it's your ability to sympathize and empathize with others that allows you to connect with other people and allows you to have healthy relationships with other people. Now, I get that there is a lot going on in the world as related to a lot of things that are believed to be unethical, but you cannot let any of those things make you to the point where you just want to give up on having any sort of connection to people. And that one of the worst things that could happen is you start looking at the world and all the evil in it, and it starts making you want to give up on having feelings, because this is something that can happen when you have a bad experience. Now, I've had my fair share of bad experiences with toxic people ever since I was about 12 years old, but I never let that burn out my sympathy or empathy, because I know that in order for me to have relationships, I need to be a loving and caring person. And while the people who did me wrong didn't care about me, I always understood that the Most High loved me and the Most High cared about me. And that's the kind of love that you need to have to avoid sympathy and empathy burnout, is having that relationship with the Most High God, knowing that He loves you, knowing that He cares about you. And if nobody else in the world cares about you, you have a Father in heaven who cares about you. And while there's a lot of evil in the world, you need to want to go out here and find love with like-minded people, and that is going to stop you from having any sort of sympathy or empathy burnout. Yes, as I've grown up, I've run into again a lot of evil and a lot of people who've done me dirty, but I didn't want to go out here and lose my sympathy for others going through pain, or my empathy for those who are going through hard times, because I know that if I don't care about them and what they're going through, nobody's going to care about me. And while I am out here, I can't let my sympathy and empathy get burnt out, because if I let that burn out, I'm going to head down a dark road to becoming either a psychopath or a sociopath, and that's not a road I want to be on, because I have seen these type of people and the evil that they do, and I don't want to give that back to the world. That's another reason why you want to deal with it, because you don't want to give that kind of evil back to the world, because those people, they don't sympathize or empathize with anyone, and instead of them seeing people as people, they see people as tools that they can use to get from one station in life than the next. Now, you deal with this burnout by finding something that you're passionate about. I say go read your Bible and learn about the love of the Most High and His Son, the Messiah, and find a way to learn how to connect with others who can share positive energy with you. That's how you deal with the sympathy and empathy burnout. While you've been hurt by someone, you've got to find a way to learn how to love others, and find a way to share love with others who have more positive energy. That's something I did when people were doing me wrong, and I was starting to become very hardened and very bitter towards certain things. I went out here and found a way to work on more positive, with my relationship with the Most High, and I also went out here and worked on more positive things, like the book, working on the SJS Direct Imprint, or working on things like my YouTube channel, and trying to find a way to share positive messages with people, and trying to share positive energy with people. Because once you start to connect with those who have positive energy, you will learn how to really get your energy up. You won't be apathetic, you won't be jaded, and you'll be able to sympathize with others if they're having hardships as related to goals that they're working on. You'll be able to empathize and feel like from the things that those people are feeling, and you'll be able to reconnect with positive people. And again, this whole burnout thing is possibly because you've had a bad experience or a negative experience, but the way you overcome this is by going out here and finding like-minded people and having positive relationships with them. And I would also say go out here and read your Bible and learn about the Most High, and learn about the Messiah's sacrifice that he gave to the world, because the Most High Son, the Messiah, he went out here and he sympathized for all of the sin of man. He empathized with the plight of man as he was plunged in sin as related to the fall, and he was sent down to sacrifice himself to pay for the sin debts of all of mankind. And that is the greatest act of sympathy and empathy that someone could have, and that's what the Messiah had and the Most High had when they came down on the earth. And again, they could have easily had the same apathy and walked away from humanity, but because they loved people, they went out here and they empathized and sympathized with all of those sinful people to pay their sin debts in full. So you can deal with this burnout by, again, focusing on more positive aspects of your life, focusing on doing more positive things, because if in order for people to care about you, you have to care about them, and you have to connect with those who want to connect with you. So that's how the whole thing is. You're not, it's not really, when it's coming down to this burnout, again, that's just hurt from negative experiences. And the way to overcome negative experiences is to find positive people and have positive experiences with those people. And once you start to have a healthy relationship with healthy people, you will find yourself reconnecting with that emotional side of yourself and be able to sympathize and empathize with those who love and care about you. Now, this is a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a $15 donation to the Cash App, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you also want to help out the channel, you can pick up some of the books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spencerella trilogy. Every one of those books helps me stay on the air when you buy them, and it also gives you a great positive story to read. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.